everybody, welcome to the production ESP32 stream today, August 13th, 2025. Today, I didn't do a scheduled event, so I'm starting a little early than the normal streaming time, but today we're going to be talking about ESP Insights. As you can see, this is listed as beta, but I just learned about this recently. And so, a little bit of background, I run Deploy the Fleet. I am looking to implement a whole bunch of things around device metrics and logging and a whole bunch of tools around that to really simplify and make production device deployment easier. Memfault is, the biggest name in the industry there, but, and as I was looking through and looking at architecture and things for designing that, I came across ESP Insights and found that Espressif has already done a lot of the work here to at least try something to see, how well it works and what it looks like. And that's ESP Insights. And so this is a way through their ESP Insights dashboard. They've basically already built what I'm looking to build. And there's always two parts to this, right? There's this dashboard part, which you have to create and show what, developers may find interesting and uh, put all that data together and show it in a way that's meaningful. But then there's also the firmware side of it, so the SDK, and that's also a whole. I mean, they're both a lot of work. And so what it looks like is that Espressif has already built the SDK part, and because they're more interested, at least for now, in selling chips than software, it's all open source, and you can actually just they have ESP Insights, which is part of the whole Rainmaker offering. But as far as I've been able to tell, the SDK can be repointed anywhere you want. And since it's all open source, the idea here is that we should be able to just repoint this to a server that we own and do whatever we want with the information. And so this stream is really literally just going to be me trying to play with it for the first time. I have done zero prep work for this. I have no idea how this works or how easy it is to set up. So we're going to figure that out in today's stream. So that's what we're doing. Let me just do a quick check on the stream and make sure that we're up and running. Open the chat here. Okay, so I am just right here at github.com, Espressif ESP Insights. Let me drop that into the chat in case anybody wants to see it. And then let's go through setting it up. So I already have a Rainmaker account. Rainmaker, as far as I'm aware, is extremely expensive if you want to use it for deployed devices, but there is, as with all things, a free tier. And ESP Insights just took my Rainmaker account and allowed me to log in. So obviously the two services are connected. And so I'm logged into ESP Insights here, and I'm on this manage auth keys as part of the setup for this. I just came down here to sign up or sign into the ESP Insights dashboard, visit manage auth keys, and generate an auth key, copy the auth key to your firmware. So I've done that part just to save a little bit of time. That was all I did right before the stream started. So I have an auth key here that I will actually now download. Okay, and then let's see where I want to put that. I'm going to put that in our ULP project where we're doing that. So dev, maker, let's see, ULP playground, and I'll just dump it in the root of the project there. So great. And then let's go back here and we're going to go to examples. And then it kind of goes through this is how you get the repository. And so I think I actually will do it this way. Let's just clone the whole thing, kind of like we did with the Arduino in the last stream. I'll just create a whole new folder into my ULP Docker environment. And it says set up the ESP Insight accounts and then check the minimal diagnostics example, which is under the examples minimal diagnostics. So let's just start with that. So up here, let's make this big again. Let's check. I've got this hello world, which was from our last stream, which I'm going to completely nuke. So I'm going to remove -rf hello world because that was just our Arduino. Just to kind of keep things clean. And then I'm going to clone just at this top level. Let's just run that ESP Insights Git. Let's do that. That was extremely fast. Okay. Oh, ESP Insights. Great. And I've got examples, and so let's cd into examples. Minimal diagnostics. Okay, and then let's look at what that. Let's collapse main here. Let's collapse VS Code to keep it clean. We're going to go into examples, minimal diagnostics, and then I guess we can just, let's see what they have in defaults. I guess we can just take all of this stuff, config. Okay, so here it looks like is all the ESP stuff. Enable metrics, heat metrics, Wi-Fi metrics, variables, network variables. Config ESP Insights enabled, yes. Meta version 10, no. Use no, I have no idea what that means. Flash size 4 meg. I'm actually in an 8 meg. I'm going to change that. And then I guess we can just build this. Let's just look through the README real quick. I think it's probably got all the same things. Oh, download the auth key. And then I don't know where we put the auth key. I guess that's the part I'm not sure. Please make sure you have do the getting started. In order to save reports, save core dump to flash config option must be enabled. So I'm assuming that's going to be in the SDK config defaults. Yep, enable core dump to flash. So they've already taken care of that for us. Great. There must be a partition table entry for core dump and factory, which they have also done for us. We look at this. They have a core dump and a factory. Oh, that's NVS factory. This is app factory. Great. I'm going to clean just have that open so we're not having too many files open. Great. In this example, SDK config defaults has the, it would have been nice to put that first. Basically what I just said. Yes, they've already taken care of that for us. Below mentioned steps are for using HTTPS protocol. If you want to use ESP Insights over MQTT, click here. Copy auth key to example. So we have to put it as insights auth key.text. Great. Okay. And then we are just going to, we got to configure the Wi-Fi SSID and password. Great. And then we just flash it. Okay, cool. So,
folks are still working in production.
Hooray. That's my daily, for those that are new to the stream, production product that I work on using ESP32. That is a daily test that runs using the ADF in that project, not just the IDF. So, okay, this all seems pretty straightforward. So, that key that I downloaded, right, where is it? Key, test key. I thought I downloaded it into the root of the project here. No? Did I not? No, not that. This. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Let's move it so it's in the right the right place. Which is where? Where did I put that? DTF SDK Playground. Okay. Sorry. DTF SDK Playground. And I'll just actually go right to where it needs to go, which is in examples, minimal diagnostics, and paste it right there. Okay, great. That should now be where we need it. And it needs to be named insights authkey.text, which is not what it's named currently. So now it's should be in oh, it should be where we need it. Down here, examples, minimal diagnostic, test key.txt. We're going to rename that to insights auth key.txt. And my guess is that this CMake list is looking for that by name. Insights path, insights path. Add insights component, not needed. Okay, so the insights component, I guess, is looking for it by name, probably. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Target add binary data, insights auth key. So if you want to name it something different, you would just modify this CMake lists to name it whatever you want to name it. And then just before we go into IDF config, let's actually just take a look at main here and see what that looks like. Config ESP Insights transport. I think we're going to be using HTTPS. We'll see how that looks. Minimal diagnostic, flash init. This is all just standard stuff. Flash init, net interface init, create the default loop. This example connect is just connecting to Wi-Fi, which we'll set up in menu config in just a second. Rainmaker time sync init. This initializes SNTP. Insights uses relative time since boot up. If time is not synchronized, and epoch since 1970 if time is synchronized. Okay, so until it's synchronized, you're going to get just like milliseconds, millis. And then when it is synchronized, you're going to get a full epoch timestamp. We init insights, which we are going to be using HTTPS. Cool. And again, the idea eventually here is to have my own server that I would, because I did look ahead of time, you can change the server location, and we'll just point it to that, and then we can grab the data, store it, do whatever we want with it, and make our own version of this using the SDK provided by Espressive. So that could be really cool. That's what I'm trying to figure out and play with here. And then it's just saying dump the metrics. Oh, and this was set, I believe, to 10 minutes. These are all enabled because of the SDK config defaults. Heap and following is done to demonstrate the use of metrics dump and Wi-Fi dumps, APIs, and view good graphs on the dashboard. So it's just going to do metrics dump and Wi-Fi metrics dump. I wonder what else. I wonder if we can control D here. We're probably too deep to go to definition. No, we are. Okay. ESP dag Wi-Fi metrics dump. Let's actually go back, and there should be a header file here. Right here. Oh, come on, there is so. Excuse me. Okay. I just want to see like what the whole API looks like. All right. Well, we'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so let's make this bigger, and let's go into menu config. Uh-oh. Oh, it needs to be in main. Okay, sorry. So we need to move that this into the main folder. Move. There we go. All right, and then example connection configuration. Connect using Wi-Fi interface. Get SSID and password from standard in. No. We all know my IoT SSID by now. Sidnet IoT. And the password is the always inside joke Juicero2. And obtain IPv6 address. I mean, I'd rather not. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. And then let's go into component config, and let's find insights and see what all we can change. I'm guessing it's going to be near the bottom. And it is. Oh, Rainmaker Common. Okay, product name, Product version. So RM dev. I wonder if that's going to end up showing up in Insights. But anyway, we'll come back. We're playing. I like I said, I have no previous knowledge of how Insights work or what it does, and so enable core default transports HTTPS, and here it is. It's going to send it to client.insights.espressive.com. I think we can just change that to our own server so we can actually look at the data. I know it's CBOR encoded, which I've not done a lot with. I just know of it, and so we'd have to decode it with that, but it's a well-known standard, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then we can hopefully unpack the data and start looking at it ourselves. Insights cloud post min interval 60 seconds. Max is 240 post seconds. Yeah, so let's have it send every 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds. And the max 240, 60, that's 4 minutes. Let's change this to 60 seconds. 60 seconds, use older metadata format. Let's just see what it says. For users already using older metadata, this provides an option to keep using the same. Is not back. Okay, so they changed how the SDK is sending the data. So if you are pointing this to your own server, you might want to enable that because you're supporting the old one. We are brand new to this, so we don't care. All right, let's exit, save. And then it sounds like, oh, their SDK config defaults are out of date. Look at that. Config ESP32 enable core dump to flash was replaced with config ESP core dump enable to flash. So they're using their SDK config in this example is outdated. Should still work just fine, but just something to note. Okay. All right, and then I believe it just says we should build in Flash. IDF.py, erase Flash, build Flash. Yeah, let's do that. We do want to erase all the Flash because it's got a new partition table, so we're not going to do just the Flash. So we'll do erase Flash, build Flash. So we're going to do IDF.py, erase Flash, build Flash. And again, we are just using a little teeny dev kit C here. Nothing fancy, no custom hardware. I'm going to turn that on and I'm going to hit enter and see what happens. Let that build. Cool. We're moving along here. Okay. Excuse me. Got a little bit of a sore throat this morning. And if everything works, I assume we'll just start seeing stuff in that dashboard, which would be pretty amazing. That's a pretty cool experience. I mean, we've been at this for, I've been doing a lot of talking, but we'll call it 10 minutes if you were just locked in, focused, going through the steps. 20 minutes with me blabbering in between. Okay. Let's see what we get on the monitor. Connecting, waiting for IP. Come on, you can do it. Oh. Wi-Fi failed to add. Well, because... Wait, did we ever get an IP address? Yes, we did. Okay, it just took a little longer than it wanted to. So we're going to have to wait another 30 seconds. Let's just sit here and stare at each other for another 20 seconds while that waits. I'm assuming we'll see something saying like, hey, metrics were sent. And then we'll go check the dashboard. There we go. Wi-Fi metrics, heat metrics. Okay. Now let's go down into our ESP Insights dashboard. Nodes. And look at that. That is the MAC address, I'm sure. Chip ESP32, project minimal diagnostics. Project version is 1. I wonder where that's set. Project version. I know, I'm like intentionally not going to the... No, let's just go to the money shot. Let's see how it's working. Dashboards, system default. Setting up your dashboard, please wait. Guess we can make this a little bigger too. It's kind of taking a minute. Or more. All right, let's go back to nodes. It looked like I could click on a node. Minimal diagnostics, v1.0, event count, reboots 1. Visualize logs, no matching logs for the applied filters. Okay. Okay, sweet. Group by type. What are my type? Crash, 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 crash. Log, args. So, okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, and then we got here metrics, which there are none. Variables, which there are none. So we'll see how we can set this stuff up. Tags, there are none. And settings, sorry, there are no advanced settings available for this node. Okay, so I don't know what oh, reboots. That's reboots, as it says so clearly here on the graph. So I wonder if I'm going to hit the reboot button and see what that does. Failed to enable insights. NVS Open failed. Why would NVS Open fail? All right, let's give it a second and see if it reports. It did just send something. So the RSSI, like, where's that stuff? I want to see like the RSSI. Let's just F5 refresh this. Okay, it's, yeah, we had a reboot here at 11 after. Now that it's 14 after, we had another reboot. So yeah, those are reboots. Great. But I want to see metrics. It's just kind of, oh, there we go. Way over here. It's not like auto sizing. Is that because I've zoomed here? Nope, it's just really... Okay, well, way over here above my head, right here. Yeah, I can't point up that high. Straight up. We're seeing that our RSSI is reported here. Minimum ever. RSSI, and Wi-Fi connect status. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And then heap. Oh, yeah, here we go. Free heap. It's a lot of heap. Largest free block is around 110K. Minimum free size and malloc failed. The number of times the call to malloc has failed. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Some interesting stats there. That's fun. Variables, we don't have anything. We do. IP, station. These are all variables. That indeed is my IP address, right? 3.214. Let's go back and just look at that. I'm sure it is, but yep. 192.168.3.124. Let's see what kind of Wi-Fi variables we have. Station, auth mode 7, BSSID, channel. That is indeed my SSID. Last Wi-Fi disconnect reason. That would be really cool to have. Disconnect count since last reboot. And diagnostics. Log write fail count. It says 2. I wonder if that's just an internal. Yeah. I don't know what that :1:1:4 at the end means. Okay, so that's all pretty cool. Great. Variables and then tags. There are no tags. Okay. So that's pretty cool. A little bit of a long load time there, feels. But yeah, this is just like basic device metrics, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And they are sending it. I still want to know. Let's see where that project is coming from, that project version. I think it might be in, oops, project version. Let's, sorry, make that bigger. Not in here. Component config. Is there a version.txt file? No. Yeah, it would be right here. So, oh, unless it's in the, let's just look in here. Top level. Project ver right there. That's where it's getting it from. So we can change that to 2.3. Save it. Thought I saw some project version here. 1x0. I don't know what that is, but I'm guessing that changing this to 2.3 will change that. And then it has this product SKU, which I didn't see anywhere. Which I did not see anywhere in the dashboard. Steven, thanks so much for joining. And Peter, also, seems different to Rainmaker, which can be self-hosted. No, I think we can self-host. And that's what, I mean, we've got time here, so I'm going to start trying to play with. So we'll see if we can get there. Yes, you can change the server that it points to, which I'm just going to point it to something I'm running locally and see if we can get it to send data local. So that's going to be coming up here in just a minute. I just want to see if my project version changes, which is not important at all, but I'm curious. All right, so, and then I'd love to crash. Let's create a crash too and see what happens there. Yeah, look at that. Project version is now 2.3, so that's cool. Reboots 3. Great, so we figured that out. Now let's let's come back down here and see, like, it would be nice if there was, check out the documentation here. I'd love to know, like, what all of the different, this is not what I want. SDKs maybe. This is Rainmaker. I don't think this is really what we want. It's not. I'm looking for, oh, that's for, yeah. Check out, I want the ESP Insights documentation. This is Rainmaker. Configurations, partition table. Yeah, we got all of that. I would just really like to know how we can do, so like, let's get a crash. Let's look at the other examples here. Diagnostic smoke test. There's a 30 out of 500 probability that device will crash. This is done for verification of crash. Oh, this is the example we should have done. Okay. I assume the SDK config defaults are mostly the same. Looks like it. Partitions. Maybe we'll just copy the main. Yeah, this all looks the same. So let's grab. Well, let's see if we can just do a swap out here. And use this instead. Sounds like it'll provide some more interesting at main C. Let's do rename to simple. And let's do a new file. At main.c. And let's just drop that in and see if it Eesh. See if it builds and works and does the thing. I don't see a repo for the Insights project though. Yeah, I just sorry, it should be in the YouTube quote comments, but I'm gonna drop it in here again. This is the repo I'm working out of that you should be able to clone and use directly. And I'm not using the MQTT broker here. I'm using the HTTPS, but you can change it, and I'll show that in a second. Let's see if we can get some better diagnostics here. Metrics. Yes, that's cool. Any additional variables we get? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so let's go back up to the code and see. I allocated bytes, so it's doing allocations. Dice equals 3. Oh, these are cool. These are, I think, just custom events. Let's open this down. Smoke test, and let's look at the contents of smoke test. Okay, so it's doing, it's disconnecting and reconnecting. So it'll show some Wi-Fi disconnects and reconnects. If the dice is greater than 300, we're going to do an ESP diagnostic event. And then we're going to do some log. Oh, and then we're going to just force a crash. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so we're going to let that run for a bit and see if it will crash. And we should now be getting some more interesting things in here. So let's refresh. Wi-Fi station. Last disconnect reason was an 8. Auth mode, channel 1. Disconnect count since last reboot, so we've hit at least one of those. Let's look at metrics again. Crashes, malloc fail, reboots. I'm curious where that other, like the diag event. Oh, events. Here you go. But does it tell me what the event is? No matching logs, because I'd love like an error log. Oh, let's see. If the dice, so like 401, it was just 401. So it should do this, and it should be sending count. So like I would expect to see this somewhere. And then otherwise we're doing log error, log warning. So I would expect to be seeing those also. Yeah, see, it's doing an error log, count 19. Like, where is that? That should be showing up. So I'd love to see it here in these logs, but that doesn't seem to want to do that. Search logs, error. Load older logs. Expand all. Roll to bottom. I'm just not getting any logs. View details. Okay. And I still was expecting to see that this is just, I want to see I would have expected it to be in variables. IP, station, great. Wi-Fi, station, great. Diagnostics? Nothing. Okay, so it doesn't look like the logs are coming through for reasons. I don't know what the reason would be. Maybe I don't have something turned on in menu config. Okay, but for those that are asking, let's get in and take a look at it. Menu config. Pop that up. Component config, and then we come all the way down to the bottom here. ESP Insights right here. You can point this to wherever you want. So right now it's pointed to client.insights.espressive.com, but we can point that to localhost, whatever, and start getting data, I assume, which is what I want to try here in a second. But I don't know why we're not getting enable ESP Insights. Why aren't we getting the error logs? Let's look at this. Metrics, heat metrics, enable variables. I don't know where all that stuff gets enabled. Like, where is enable metrics? Oh, it's in component config diagnostics. Okay. Enable heat metrics, enable Wi-Fi metrics, enable diagnostic variables, enable network variables, enable more advanced network variables. What does that do? Doesn't really say. So, well, let's turn it on. So nothing here about logs. Enable wrapping of log functions. Yeah, so it's... Yeah, okay. Should be sending logs, so I'm not sure why it's not. Okay. Oh, Steven, I get what you're saying now. When you say self-host. You did say self-host. Yes. You can, but yes, you have to provide your own code, which is what I'm looking to do. So yes, you can't 100%, you're right. Everybody that's saying that. Yes, there is no, the source code for ESP Insights as hosted by Espressive. This stuff right here, yes, they are not providing the source code for because they want you to pay for it. Which in your account settings, like it'll tell you, I think there's like a usage, billing and usage. I don't have any like credit cards set up, but yeah, okay, so credits consumed. We started this literally 15 minutes ago and I've consumed 1,034 credits. I have no idea when, like, what's free. I don't know what the free tier is. And so, yes. Doesn't seem like it'll tell us there. And it doesn't, I guess I could just let this thing run 24/7 and see when it stops gathering data. But yeah, so that's where we're at. And dashboard never really loaded. Let's give it another second here. 5, 4, 2. Okay, my patience is done. All right, let's come back to nodes and come back into our thing here. Hey, there we go. 1010, 1023. Okay, now we're getting some events. Sweet. Event. We could not find the firmware image to cross-reference this log entry. Please upload a firmware image to get cross-referenced information for this log. Oh, it's just, it wants like the ELF. I wonder if it's the ELF. So let's do firmware packages. Add a package. Select package. And let's select one. Where'd it go? There it is. ESP Insights, examples, minimal diagnostics, build. I think it's the ELF that they would want. Oh, it wants a zip, which is in my. It made a zip file in the. Sorry, let me pull this back out. You can't see this. This is the build directory for the minimal diagnostics. Normally, you've got your bin and your elf, and then it actually made this zip file. So let's just select that and hit add package. Version 2.3 type. I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to take all those files now and use it as a cross reference. Just a guess. So, okay. Let's go into package name. Package ID. So now if we come back to nodes and here, some information missing. There is a chance that some firmware package is not present. Please refer to the ESP Insights for more information. Well, I added the package. Oh, and now it's showing. Yes. Okay, so it is just sending. Gotcha. Yeah, so behind the scenes, it's just sending some information about like program counter and things like that, address, and then it's looking in I'm assuming the ELF, and saying, yes, for that event, like this is where it was called from. And then you can see it. Okay. Interesting. Oh, and we got a crash. And then it gives you the whole, we could not find the firmware image. But I assume it would give you the full backtrace here. That's kind of cool. Software reset was due to panic. That happened 4 minutes ago, which we missed because we're not monitoring anymore. Okay. So, great. We're getting logs. We're getting reboot information. I'm not getting any errors, but surely there are errors. And what is this? View this event in metrics. Is it? I'm not sure what these red lines mean. Is that like a reboot? I don't know. Filters. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it means if you do it in metrics. All right. Variables. I assume you can add your own custom variables as well. Still don't have any tags, I assume. Okay, so pretty cool. Yeah, it would be useful to know what these, I think these might be reboots in blue. And then maybe this is crash. How many crashes does it say we have? Oh, click vertical bars and chart to view event cause. Oh, it's okay. I didn't even catch this. Vertical red is crashes. Vertical blue is reboots. So yes, and then you saying I can click it. Ah, and then it shows it right here. Exception store prohibited has caused. Gotcha. And I assume the same thing here. Yep. And then the reboot here. Reset due to power on event. Reset due to power on. Reset power on. I'm going to hit the reset button. I think that's a slightly different reset code. Okay, all very cool and interesting, and now it looks like we're definitely getting logs. Now we've had 3 crashes, so I would expect to see that over here. All right, great. Now with the remaining 25 or so minutes that we have here, let's see if we can point this to a local server and get the data that way. Here's that one that we just did. It's just reset due to power on event. Okay, we could always change that to do like a soft reboot and see a different thing. But anyway, I think you get the idea. Pretty cool. All right. I mean, yeah. So again, they're doing all of the work here. Let's just do an idf.py size components and take a look. obviously you're going to pay some amount of overhead for this in terms of flash space and memory. The way they do say that they're doing this is with RTC RAM. So they are storing, and I guess you can move the dials on how much RTC RAM you want. It would be interesting if you could choose a different spot to store that. The reason they use RTC RAM is so it survives reboots. So that's interesting. But ESP app format. I guess I'm looking for like an ESP Insights. Here you go. Live ESP Insights. 11. This is the total size right here. So 11,000. That's not much. ESP Diagnostics, another 9. So you're at 20. So, you know, like 20K of total size. Flash code. Yeah. All right. So it's not terrible. And again, you would have this. Well, maybe you just run this during your dev builds, and then you would turn it off in production. Although that kind of defeats the point. You would like to know in production. That's the whole point. You want to know the fleet health. So okay. Now, if I have this all set up correctly, which I'm not convinced I do, I am going to open up another window here. And let me get there. This is kind of another project that I don't fully want code out for. So let me just close anything that I don't want seen, and then I'll bring it into view here. Close others. And then let's pull this way down. Yes, this is it. Okay. This is for another product that I use, that I created. And so let's just make this a little bigger so it fits in the window. Okay. Yes, Steven, that you're exactly where I'm going with this, which is hold on. Prompted AI with the yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do here is like let me see how the data's coming in, how it's sending it, how it's encoding it. And you could look through the ESP Insights code to see how it's encoding it. Then we just decode it, and then we do whatever, store it in a database, log it out to a file, whatever. And that's kind of what I want to play with right here. So I'm going to add a new route. Logs every incoming request, full details, and returns 200. Help me reverse engineer device communication. I'm going to do this in TypeScript, so we're on the same thing. So I'm going to do get ESP. Oh, it's not going to be get, it's going to be a post. Post ESP Insights. Like that. And none of this is correct. Yeah. And then what I'm going to basically just do is just do a console.log of the body. And then we'll just respond with, I don't even know what we need to respond with. So we'll just try JSON OK. I'm sure it's deep in the SDK somewhere that we could look at that. But for now, we'll just do that. And so we should be able to post data to ESP Insights on this machine, which let's get a terminal open. And all right, and now we're going to run this. This is running on localhost 9001. I hope we can specify a port. And just see what we get. So back here, menu config. We're going to change this. And again, hopefully it will allow us to change the port. So we're going to do http://192.168. Where was it? dot 3.153 is the machine that I'm on, port 9001. And we're gonna have it try to send to that. Just I don't know, just see what happens. I'm expecting a very low probability of this working, but you got to start somewhere. And if it doesn't, I'm hoping we'll see some kind of error that tells us what the issue is. But I'm assuming it's just using the ESP HTTP client underneath the hood anyway, so it should just respect the URL and figure out the port like it does in other scenarios. So I don't know. Yeah, it hates that. Failed to add heat API response status 404 40444 not found. Oh, because yeah. Okay, that's good. Let's actually check it out. It is definitely hitting, and I'm responding with 404. Look at this. It's hitting prod node data node ID, all this stuff. Cool. So we're gonna let's just change our endpoint to be that. Prod node data. Okay. We'll see. I think that should just I'm gonna hit reset on my device. So it's reconnecting. It did send this, and I didn't get an error. Received insights data. It's just an empty array, which tells me it's trying to parse that with JSON and just getting. Yeah, okay, but this is working. Like we're getting there. Okay, so we got the node ID. So yeah, let's start doing this out. Console.log receive data from node, and then we'll do that, but that's not what it is. It's going to be request.query.node ID. So that should work. And then it's trying to parse this somehow. Do body dot I don't think that that's going to work. And we can make this a little bigger. There we go. Okay, yeah, check it out. Receive data from node, and so we're getting that. But what is the raw? Where would that be? It's been a while since I've messed with this. It's going to be an express somewhere. Loaders, express. Use body parser JSON. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So just for now, let's turn both of these off. And let's change this back from .raw to just body. Okay, so it is expecting it to be JSON, which it's not. Okay. Still getting undefined. How is it? Okay. All right. Do the. Yeah, but it's not doing. It's just saying it's undefined. it's getting filtered out somewhere because I'm using Express and, well, whatever. Let's just see if we can get the headers at least. Okay, authorization. That's that key that it's sending. Octet stream and content length 887. So we are definitely getting the data. It's just not. Okay. So let's just see. Let's put Copilot to the test. Let's do it. The route prod node data is receiving a post body of type application octet stream. Okay, so we're definitely getting the data. We just gotta get there. Octet stream, which is CBOR encoded. Write code to decode it and print it to the console. Code to route. I don't know. Claude is normally the model I go to for coding, which it's GitHub Copilot is using, like it says, Claude Sonnet 4 here. I have found that whatever magical wrapper GitHub like Copilot's putting around all of the models makes them slightly to much worse than they are if you use them directly, just through a whole bunch of testing. Like I can ask Claude, exact same prompt, Claude direct, Claude through Copilot, and get a slightly worse answer over here because of whatever model rules Microsoft is wrapping over it. So run command in terminal. Yeah, let's continue, do it. Great. Stephen, great point. Is the data encrypted using that key? If so, yeah, I think we'll find out. Import now. Update. Import star as CBOR. Yeah, I hate that, but okay. I don't love how it's doing that. Sure. I've successfully modified route to added CBOR, enhanced the route. Decode the CBOR body using CBOR, print the decoded data in formatted JSON structure, include error handling in case. I don't know. Let's just YOLO. Let's just try it. Keep. Good job, AI. Let's see if you work or if you crash. Address. Oh, I'm in the wrong. Let's restart it. And wait for the next ESP message to come through, which should be at most 30 seconds. Steven, I bet you're right. I bet you it is encrypted using this key. Well, no. Let's take a look and see what's in the key itself. Because maybe type input decoding CBOR data input required. Yeah, rec.body still doesn't seem to have. Yeah, let's do using the Express.js framework and the rec.body seems to be empty. What would I do add setup properly populated? Okay, now let's go. I was saying let's look at the key. So let's come back over here and look at the auth key. So it's a jot. That's what that looks like. Are there periods? If there's periods, it's a jot. There's one. And there's two. Definitely a jot. So let's grab the whole thing. Control C. Let's come down here and do jot decoder. I think it's like jot.io or something. Yeah, jot.io. And let's dump it. Okay, so this is literally just my user. Okay. Claims, yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is just a jot to ESP Insights. So that's what authenticates me to the ESP Insights website. So I don't, if you want to implement this yourself, you would do a similar security measure to make sure that the device is who it says it is. I guess I just leaked my ESP Insights user ID, so if anybody wants to hack that, I guess have at it. Okay, let's go back to here. We're almost out of time here. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to end the stream before we get all the way there, but let's see what AI said. The body parser middleware is commented out. For seaboard data, which is binary, you need to add the raw body parser middleware to handle it. I've updated your express configuration. You did? You just like figured that out? Yeah, okay. It's just, it's got its hands in here. Use body parser. It put JSON back. Also, that back. And then, oh, for that route. Yeah, sweet. Keep. All right, let's try that. Okay. Any other changes you made? That looks good. All right. Man, the Copilot, after I just badmouthed you, I feel like you might be coming through for us here. It would be the best way to end the stream ever if we actually saw some JSON. Oh, we are getting close. We are now getting the data in the buffer. But it still hates itself. No, that's... No, what? Where are we at? Unexpected data. Okay. Let's just come back over to the ESP Insight. And let's come back up to main here. And I'm sure we can... The data is then periodically encoded in CBOR format and sent over the transport. Is there any other... I have no experience with CBOR. I know it exists, but I don't know if it's just as easily as a encode decode or if there's something else to it. Obviously, there's something else to it because it says it hates it. But we did get the buffer that time. Yeah, and here it comes again. Let's just keep... AI's doing okay so far. I just canceled it, dang it. Okay, that, I'm going to hide that context. That worked. However, an error decoding. Or there could be some header wrapper around the CBOR data. Let me modify the code to first inspect the raw data and try different approaches to decode it. Okay, we're going to let it do that. We might go just a little bit over time because I'm like, I don't want to turn this off in task switch. Okay, it's saying it made a bunch of changes. Let's look at that. First bytes. Run this updated code and check the console output. The hex dump and ASCII representation will help us understand what's actually being sent. If there's a pattern, we can adjust the parsing accordingly. I accept my AI overlords and their infinite wisdom. Run. What's really cool, even even if we're not going to make it over the hump here, is we're definitely getting the data, and now it's a matter of figuring out, how it's encoded. We could go back and read the SDK code, C code, and we could even, with something like Copilot or whatever your favorite AI tool is, you could grab that repo, point it, and say, "Hey, please look at this, determine how it's doing CBOR." Oh dear. Oh dear. Look at that. Found CBOR data at offset 3. So I wonder if it's always offset 3. We're going to let this go. Oh, man. Sweet. All right. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. Did it just send me another one? Data offset 3. And then this is it. Version 2. That's diagnostic version. Metrics. Free heat. This is timestamp. So let's grab that actually. And just for fun, let's do Epic Converter. Drop this in. I think it's got a couple of extra things. No, it does. Microseconds. Wednesday, August 13th, 4:57 p.m. GMT, 10:57, which is exactly the local time here. That's amazing. Heap size. Here's all of our data. Totally in JSON. Attempted, found CBOR data at offset 3. So there is some, and it's always, look at this, always offset 3. Just right there. There's another one. Offset 3. This is great. And so now, if you're rolling your own thing, again, whether you want to create an entire dashboard or just a data store, I would love to see how logs are. I'm going to let this run for a while and look at it. But 1 minute prior to when I typically like to end this stream, which is 11 a.m. local, and I'll stick around just for a minute, we have got the data coming to our own web server. We can do whatever we want with it now, store it however we want. I do want to see how logs come through, how a crash would come through. I'm going to just let this run and let it crash, let it do some logs and do all that. And cool. It actually feels a little, I guess we could actually look at like how much data is this, because it's, if you'll notice, it's pretty formatted, which maybe console's doing, maybe it's not actually pretty formatted in before being CBOR encoded, but we can actually look and say like, hey, 717 bytes versus this, like what's the size difference? Let's just grab this, do a tab new, and then just highlight all of it. And it'll tell us that it has 2,681 characters selected. I bet if we squash that, that's mostly white space. A lot of white space here. Anyway, I'm curious if they're being as efficient as they could be, or if there's better ways to do that. Not super worried about that because it's working. Yeah. So, and now the only thing left is, okay, let's just tell the AI. Perfect. We have the data now. We're going to put this, see, every message has this. And the offset is always 3. Let's modify the code to print out the first few bytes so we can determine what that information holds. I'm hoping I don't overload the context and then it flies off the... Let's examine those first. I'll modify the code to show the header bytes and then automatically decode from offset 3. Perfect. All right, sweet. I'm going to keep playing with this. I think we have completely accomplished the goal of the stream, which was to first get ESP Insights up and running through theirs, which we have here. Let's just check and see if anything else is new or interesting here. Hit F5. Oh, session expired. Please. Okay, whatever. You guys saw the dashboard. So we got that working. We redirected it to our own server. And now we are Seaboard decoding the data, and we could do whatever we want, create our own dashboard for that. And as we have found during this stream, AI is honestly, it would have taken me a lot longer to do the Seaboard and then figuring out that it's an offset 3 like that. I've had cases where AI totally goes off the rails and is unhelpful. This was one of those cases where extremely helpful, saved a ton of time, and got us an actual result. So that was amazing. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could vibe code a dashboard. Ask it, how can I store this in a database? And how do I vibe code a dashboard to show me, like, look at ESP Insights and vibe code me an equivalent, a knockoff. So anyway, that's going to do it for the stream today. Really pleased with where we ended up. Thanks so much for everybody that joined. Hope you learned something. And I typically stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I will not this Friday because I've got some other things, previous engagements I have to take care of on that day. And so we will be back streaming next week. Thanks so much for joining.